know, I found myself ranting and raving in a negative way about a lot of the popular content that's gone viral on YouTube these days. It feels like these channels have been blowing up out of nowhere that typically involve walking around in public, interrogating random strangers, and asking them their opinions on politics or just generally trying to create a narrative out of a very niche set of circumstantial videos. I feel like the first big example of something like this was actually Lauren Southern. She actually famously did this video series where she would walk around France or England and basically just show that there's like a lot of brown people walking around, post it online, talk about how unsafe she felt, and then all the comments would be Nazis talking about how like white Western countries are falling because of immigration. This is where the joke at the expense of Lauren Southern, none of them had French braids or were eating French baguettes comes from. This content type has since exploded and evolved, maybe you could call it devolved, into what I now consider what I call man on the street slop. And this ranges from everything from people just interviewing individuals to trying to create a narrative based on what they show. Just in terms of like walking around and giving a tour of a location. One of the biggest figures who's gotten extremely popular and gone super viral doing this is Tyler Oliveira. Now this guy is honestly, I would say, one of the worst of these figures. He is very dishonest. Now it's very interesting when I see him, say, feature a city that I've been to or that I live in. For instance, Seattle. I've lived in Seattle for a couple years now. I've explored it a pretty decent amount. I've lived in a few areas of Seattle by this point, and there's definitely some problems when it comes to violent crime. There's definitely some issues in regards to homelessness. Don't get me wrong, these are real issues, but man, the framing of it, the hyper-focusing on like specific issues or stories to frame it as though it's some like epidemic destroying a city. Like, for instance, there was a story I think that happened recently where like someone in a Seattle subway lit a woman on fire and killed her. And so this story is obviously going to blow up like crazy, and it only has to happen once, and now the narrative is that people in Seattle are lighting each other on fire, right? To be fair, I did see another video where a guy had like a big ass stick with a rag tied onto the end of it, and this happened in Seattle, where he tied a rag to the end of it, lit it on fire, and then attacked a cop with it. It was in New York? Oh, okay. Oh, I thought that was Seattle. I don't know why I remembered it as... I haven't followed that story. Regardless, maybe I confused it with the story of the guy with the rag on fire that attacked the cop. Might have mixed it up with that. Regardless, people like to use hyper-specific anecdotes to inform a larger issue, and they have no concern for statistical trends or data. They just want to see some videos and use those videos as the basis to claim that there is a much wider issue happening. And I've criticized Tyler Oliveira for this quite a few times on my channel. Haven't seen a lot of the same energy from the rest of YouTube, though, sadly. Until now. I have been recommended a video by a big YouTuber named Vince Vintage called Exposing Tyler Oliveira, YouTube's Biggest Liar. I gotta tell you guys, it's a long one, and it's also going to be a cathartic one to watch. As someone who, I feel like I was one of the first people, not the first, but definitely one of the first to call this guy out. It feels validating as hell to see that people with larger platforms and more influence are now, you know, joining on the wave of calling this dude's bullshit out, because he is unbelievably influential for someone who's not really had that much accountability for what he's spreading. So let's check out this video. I am genuinely really excited. I have not seen a second of this video. I knew I was gonna want to watch it on stream. I knew it was gonna be good, so I just didn't spoil even a second of it for myself. I am completely blind going into this, outside of the things I know about Tyler Oliveira in regards to his dishonesty, such as like how he frames the homeless issue in Seattle. So let's hop in. Exposing Tyler Oliveira, YouTube's Biggest Liar.
This here is Tyler Oliveira, YouTuber turned investigative journalist. With 7 million subscribers, Tyler's had quite a bit of impact on the world, with hit videos such as cat-eating Haitians in Springfield, Ohio, or neo-Nazis uprising in Germany. His investigative work into hot-button political situations...
I gotta say, while most of his content is this really sloppy, or I say sloppy in the sense that it's slop, right? It's this very sloppy clickbait shit. It's not necessarily... I don't feel like Tyler Oliveira is necessarily a right-wing propaganda channel. I've said that in the past, and I feel like that's technically kind of wrong. I think his channel is just meant to be sensationalist clickbait, period. Yes, more often than not, it tends to look something like this, which is obviously very conservative in its presentation. But I don't think that's the goal as a principle. I think if there was like for instance, I think he did a video where it's like surviving a day in America's most racist town, right? I think he's just trying to get sensationalist clicks, and more often than not, the best way to get easy clicks off of sensationalist rhetoric is to appeal to conservatives, and that's what this is, first and foremost, a slop clickbait channel, not really an ideological channel.
Reaches hundreds of millions of people. Now, while Tyler claims his videos raise awareness of the problems in our world,
we are informing people about current events, topics that the broader public needs to be aware of,
and that he's YouTubeified news and journalism,
we've YouTubeified traditional news and documentarian content.
And while his fans state that Tyler's one of the greatest journalists of our time, that he's unbiased, a searcher for the truth, I'm here to tell you...
A real journalist would speak to any authoritative source or figure in regards to these issues. His content is what dumb people who are leaving comments like what you see on screen now think is good journalism. Talking to random people that might have some level of proximity to a given issue. That's not enough. You can interview random people, but you're only selecting for a very small portion of the population there. You're getting people's opinions when you interview them like this, their thoughts on issues when you interview them like this, and only a small proportion of people. You need to speak to authoritative figures, experts in these fields when you do this type of journalism as well, to compare people's opinions that you get in your like on-the-ground interview type journalism with what the experts and actually accredited figures are saying. That's actual good journalism. Oh.
Today, that this is all a big lie. In my opinion, Tyler pushes hoaxes for truth, dehumanizes people for clicks and views, and manufactures fake videos to sell to hundreds of millions of people as hard-hitting journalism.
I mean, have you seen his thumbnails? Have you seen the man's thumbnails? They're pretty damn goofy.
In my opinion, Tyler only throws gasoline on the problems in America, all in the name to get clicks and views. Today, we are going to expose who Tyler Oliveira really is. Because whether you're left-leaning, right-leaning, you like Tyler, you hate him, I think everyone can agree that a lie is bad. And when those lies are pushed to hundreds of millions of people as the unbiased truth, I would say there's a little bit more than just the problem. Now, normally I don't make exposed videos, but after me and Tyler got into a little Twitter spat, it led me down a rabbit hole of his content that I thought was so twisted and sick that I thought the entire world should know about it. And I'm so surprised that all this stuff I'm going to talk about...
The sad thing is, they kind of already do. Tyler Oliveira has a massive audience. It's crazy how many of these people get millions of views per video. They're so dishonest, and yet there's so few people calling them out. It's a demonstration to me how little critical thinking there is, right? And I see it in my own audience sometimes. Whenever someone says something like, Zan, you're always right. Anytime someone disagrees with you, I immediately unsubscribe from them. I always say, I appreciate the sentiment, but don't watch anybody with that mindset. Not me or anyone else. That is not a healthy mindset at all. And it goes to show that a lot of people do watch content, whether it be mine or Tyler Oliveira's, with that mindset of, I'm just taking in information. The critical thinking part of my brain is turned off. I'm not, like, challenging the information I'm receiving. I'm just committing it to what I considered the truth, you know? A lot of people do that instead of, you know, critically attacking any idea that tries to come into their worldview and figuring out whether or not it holds up to scrutiny. They just adopt it. There's so many people, oh my god, and this is a different but related issue. A lot of people hear about a thing going on and they want to be able to say something about it, so they just repeat what someone famous, popular, or influential said about it, so it sounds like they at least have an opinion. Because not having an opinion on it or not knowing enough about it to say anything of substance about it feels worse than having an opinion on it that might be wrong. I feel like, how many people have you interacted with that clearly don't know anything about an issue, and just for the sake of having an opinion, they parrot a word for word, they parrot a talking point you know they got from somewhere. They heard it somewhere or they read it somewhere. Maybe it's a really popular right-wing narrative, but you know it is not an original thought from them. How many times? For me, it's countless. Literally, I stopped counting.
About has never been mentioned before online. Now, I'm not going to talk about Tyler's drama with Soft White Underbelly, Brent Riviera, the Las Vegas Tunnel people. Everything in this video is newfound stuff that I've discovered over the past 4 or 5 months. So, before we get going, Tyler, I am not trying to cancel you.
I dream of people come for the cancellation. Bring it. Please cancel me.
Didn't this guy also do his little meltdown where he's like, people are attacking me. They're attacking me on Twitter. They always do this. They always do the whole like, I'm uncancelable. Come at me. Try and cancel me. And then the internet's like, okay, word. All right, sure. And then they go for it, and then they complain that they're getting canceled. And they do the whole victim narrative about it, because the victim narrative about getting canceled is how they, like, motivate their audiences into supporting them harder. You know? And despite the lefties, despite the crazy woke people.
Please!
I'm not trying to take you off the platform. I'm not even going to call you a racist, a Hitler, Tyler Oliveira.
I think when you start throwing around the R word, the conversation becomes a lot more difficult.
I'm just going to call you for what you really are, a liar. So today, let's discover who Tyler Oliveira really is. Now, Tyler's journalism consists of him going into hot-button political situations, talking to both sides, and always coming to the conclusion that whatever city he's in, it's ending all of a sudden, that it's the worst place he's ever seen. Now, these videos are seen by...
Obviously, because no one wants to click on a video that's like, this city is having a protest on like 3 city blocks of it. By the way, the city has hundreds of city blocks, and the rest of it is business as usual. This will be forgotten about in a week or 2. That would not do well as a video, but these riots are burning down the city, and then a hyper-edited, like, photoshopped thumbnail that might even use AI. That's what'll get a lot of views.
By hundreds of millions of people.
The fact is, the vast majority of the time, the truth is not as interesting as something like
People
this.
actually take...
Remember when we covered this video? We actually covered this one on stream. I investigated the city that banned police, and this is the thumbnail. Genuinely insane shit. It's just ceaselessly shameless clickbait. It's actually wild to me that millions of people watch this, and they're just like, yeah, this guy's an honest and this guy's an honest man with integrity.
Take these in for journalism. But this is all just a facade. Now let's go to his video, Oakland, where every crime is legal. Now, this video consists of Tyler going to Oakland, California, talking all about the car break-ins and how they've gone up 50 million% or whatever it is.
This is Oakland, California.
The owner of this property is not responsible for any theft or vandalism.
Alright, I'm not gonna lie, dude. Even among liberals, the white, like, fear of the inner city is real as fuck, dude. You want to know what opened my eyes to this? I was like 12 years old. Me, my mom, and my stepdad went on a trip to California, and we drove through Oakland. And I really had to piss. My bladder was at capacity. And they really did not want to stop anywhere in Oakland for me to use the bathroom. And I get it. There's definitely a fairly high crime rate there and all that, but you can definitely safely stop at a gas station and take a piss, and then get back in your car and continue driving, and not get shot or mugged or whatever the fuck in Oakland, California. The white liberal fear of this shit is real. It's not just your, like, rural white conservatives. Rural white, or not rural, suburban white Democrat voting liberal people are almost as bad. They're almost as bad with that shit. It's genuine hysteria, and it's that hysteria that motivates people to watch videos like this and eat up all that it has to tell them, like slop in a trough. They don't think about it. They believe it, you know? You see all these news stories, you hear all these specific anecdotes, and you have the opinion that, like, you can't enter this town or this part of town without running into trouble. And that's just not real. Like, that's just not how it works.
Lawlessness, crime, homelessness, police giving up.
And the whole video essentially boils down to, if you come to Oakland, your car will get broken into. So just keep that in mind. Now, in the beginning of the video, we see Tyler at a gas station, and we can hear overhead this audio playing.
The owner of this property is not responsible for any theft or vandalism.
Now, if you're at a gas station and they're playing that overhead, it's got to be pretty bad with the car break-ins. So we see Tyler vlogging around, and then we see the next shot of this Kia. And if we look on the dash...
Is that a PlayStation they've got sitting on the dashboard? And yeah, it's a PlayStation, I think a new controller. That's a PlayStation controller at least. Did he leave that there as, like, bait to see if the car would get broken into? Or is this just someone who... Like, you can't do this anywhere and consider it smart. I don't care where you are in this country. You leave, like, your purse as a woman sitting on, like, the passenger seat of your car might get broken into. Like, I don't know if it's just me, but if I have anything of value in the car, part of, like, parking and getting out is shoving all that shit under the seat or covering it up with like a coat or a jacket so you can't look into the window and see anything of value. Like that's any place that has people. You don't want to do that. We'll see what happens.
You can see a PS5 with the PS5 controller. Why would someone leave a PS5 on their dash at the gas station where they're overhead playing? Your car is going to get broken into. But let's continue on. Now in the next shot, we see the same Kia. And if we look on the dash, we can see that same PS5 and the controller. Now, why would Tyler be filming this from far away? Maybe Tyler was trying to bait someone into breaking into this car.
Yeah, for sure. But also, is he really taking up a whole gas pump with this experiment? The other gas pumps aren't being used, so it's not that big a deal. But, like, can we all agree? Him taking up a whole gas pump while not getting any gas and just like sitting far away watching to see if anyone breaks in, like real douchebag behavior. Everyone here who drives agrees that him taking up this whole pump for God knows how long is real douchebag behavior.
Maybe Tyler was trying to bait someone into breaking into this car. That seems like a crazy theory. How could we know that that's Tyler's car? Well, later on in this video, Tyler gets a parking ticket.
While the police may not do anything if you break into someone's car, commit grand theft auto, steal an ATM, or beat and rob an old lady on the street,
yeah, they will. Yeah. The funny thing is, you know that video where they're like towing the ATM through a window?
Car. Well, later on in this video, Tyler gets a parking ticket.
While the police may not do anything if you break into someone's car, commit grand theft auto, steal an ATM.
This video, I'm pretty sure, I'm almost certain this happened in Seattle. That or it's the same thing happened in Seattle. But, like, there are tons of car-related thefts that involve, like, smashing a car into the front windows of a business or dragging out an ATM, that kind of thing. Those happen and are massively pursued. The money in those ATMs belongs to the bank, and the bank does not take these things lightly. Yes, they have their money insured, but they also want to see whoever did this theft and property damage put to justice. They've got their motivations for that. No, the police don't let people get away with this shit. Very wealthy, powerful entities see this as a problem, and they throw their weight around when it happens.
Or beat and rob an old lady on the street. If you park on the side of the street and don't pay the meter, you will be fined and punished.
We got a $61 parking ticket.
And he complains that, wow, people could break in the...
Dude, he's upset that crime happens. Now, you cannot prevent crime from happening unless we're gonna go, like, future detecting crimes and start arresting people before they've committed them, right? Like, that's not... I assume that's not the route we want to take as a country. So crime's gonna happen. That, like, the fact that there is crime going down is, like, the idea... It's what they use to push this idea. Then they claim that because crimes happen, the police must not be doing anything about the crimes. Because why would anyone be doing crimes if the police were hard on crime? Surely there being harsh penalties for breaking the law would mean people would be too afraid to break the law and crime would drop. That is how a lot of these people think. It is. If there is a lot of crime, then it must be evidence that the police aren't hard enough on it. Because criminals don't commit crimes if they think they might go to jail for it, right? They genuinely think this way. Until, of course, it comes to something that's closer to home for them, like guns. Then you say, okay, all right, let's like ban guns then. Let's just start arresting everybody who owns a gun. They're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, whoa, you can't, you know, that's over, let's stepping over the boundary. You know what I mean? Like, they get it. They understand the idea that you can't, prevent crimes and that criminals don't aren't going to just not get a gun just because they can't find one legally. They can't do it legally. They'll just get one illegally and commit a crime. They understand that logic in that case, but they don't when it comes to any other form of crime.
In the cars and do drugs, but I get a parking ticket. Well, if you look at that parking ticket a little closer, we can see
car.
it's the same license plate that is on the car at the gas station. So Tyler went to the store, bought a PS5, put it on the dash, left his car out, and hit.
Ooh, Tyler Oliveira is a California cuck. We got a Cali cuck here. Ooh, that's rough, buddy.
So Tyler went to the store, bought a PS5, put it on the dash, left his car out, and hid out in a little bush trying to capture someone breaking into his car. Tyler is baiting someone into breaking into his car to try to capture it on footage. Because what would make the ultimate footage for Tyler? Oh my god, I went to Oakland, California, and the break-ins are so bad that my car got broken into. And clearly, no one broke into it, because who would be dumb enough? Clearly looks like some like cop sting operation shit. This is like levels of like faking a prank video, times 10. But when you're trying to pass this off,
this was a big trend back in 2016. It's so funny how we're back in Gamergate again, but it's not just like the right-wing anti-woke reactionary stuff in regards to nerd media. It's also the landscape of YouTube. We're seeing a resurgence in like the slop drama content. We're seeing a resurgence in prank videos that are basically the same thing as what was popular back then, where you just like stage a scenario. Who remembers that one video that everyone dunked on that one prank channel for? Prank channel fakes MAGA car vandalism. I think that would probably bring it up. Yeah, this was from back in October 2016. YouTube pranksters video showing Trump supporters' car vandalized, proven to be fake. This was like a big... This was a big type of video back then. What this guy did was he paid a bunch of... it is important, I think, to clarify. He paid a bunch of black guys to vandalize a car he set up covered in Trump, like, bumper stickers and stuff that he left specifically, like, in the hood. The idea was that, black people are so violent and angry, they'll just destroy a car because it has Trump iconography on it. Look at these animals. That's like the comment section entirely. The video got proven fake. Multiple of these like people in the video came out and said, yeah, he paid us. We're actors. They didn't go to jail. They didn't get in trouble because this was fully consensual and legal and they did it for a video. But it was meant to push a certain idea, and that prank channel, after getting exposed for making fake videos and fake pranks, got absolutely steamrolled, and prank content has since been considered like a sort of black sheep of YouTube, right? Nowadays, though, it's starting to make a resurgence as all these other forms of very stupid, low empathy, low morality content begin to take off again. You know, everything from the right-wing slop to the drama stuff to prank content. Or I guess this new era of fake prank content.
as actual news footage, on-the-ground journalism. I would say that's not something a truthful journalist would do. And after catching this right here, it really made me think, could I seriously trust anything in Tyler's videos? Is this something that a investigative journalist would do, leave a PS5 in one of the highest car-breaking areas in the fucking country? I don't think so. Like, what the fuck? Like, and Tyler still used this footage. That's what blows my mind. And didn't think anyone would find this. Like, look.
The fact that the car didn't get broken into is honestly surprising to me. I feel like if I left a PlayStation visible in the dashboard of my car in my driveway of my house, it would get broken into. Like, and I live in a decent enough neighborhood too. Like, it's actually really funny that he baited car break-ins in a gas station parking lot, which honestly, if he was smart, if he really wanted to like bait people into breaking in, he probably should have parked in a apartment complex parking lot. Like, find one of those apartment complexes that are all those big, like, rectangular buildings that are, like, 2 or 3 stories tall. Find a parking spot, set up there, like, somewhere with a lot of foot traffic. That would be, before the night is up, that car would be broken into, for sure. Anywhere in the country, but definitely in Oakland, California, it would have been broken into. Zan, I'd bet someone saw the bait and then saw him watching the bait. Well, the problem is it's in a well-lit, under secure, like video security parking lot for a gas station that's clearly open 24/7. So it's just not a very good place to bait people into, like, committing a crime. It's too obvious. If you wanted to make someone try and break into his car, I'm telling you, a hotel or an apartment complex parking lot, guaranteed before the sun rises, night one, that car gets broken into.
Look at that. It is a PS5 combo package deal with the controller on the dash. How fucking dumb are you? Like, Tyler went to Best Buy and was considering, like, should I just get the PS5? No, I should get the PS5 and the controller. Someone would definitely break into a car for the controller as well.
I mean, to be fair, those controllers are 60. There's two controllers, because there's one in the box, and there's the one in the box with the PlayStation, and there's the, like, solo controller. That solo controller alone is $60. I think they might have marked it up to around 70. All right, so to be fair here, okay, let's be fair, okay, like that. It's a good deal. It's a good bundle right there.
So, throughout the rest of this video, just think about this. This is how far Tyler's willing to go to make a good story.
We've YouTubified traditional news and documentarian content, basically.
Like, you bought the controller. Why would you buy the controller as well? So let's go to Tyler's video, Oakland, where every crime is legal. Now, Tyler's videos start out with him flying to the place, checking it out, talking to both sides, and he'll intersperse news clips or relevant news footage of these events happening in that city.
With 1 of every 30 residents having their car stolen last year, 38% increase in robberies, 23% increase in burglaries, and 44% increase in motor vehicle theft.
Because frankly, when Tyler goes to these places, it's not as bad as he always wants it to be. So by Tyler showing all these news clips, it could seem way worse than what it really is.
That's a good point. He's never going to show up, and he's never... Unless he does this for another 20 or 30 times, I don't expect he's likely to actually catch himself anything substantial on video. Which I think really goes to show just how much he's overblowing the situation. But when you lead in and finish off with all of these random clips and videos, it's very easy to make it seem like what you came and saw corroborates your point. Even if none of these video clips happened or were caught, like happened while Tyler was there, or were recorded by him.
Now, Tyler is passing this along as actual information, that this is actually how the city is. Now, these news clips are always from the city that Tyler's in. Or are they? In this Oakland video, Tyler brings along this...
Of course not. These videos, like these blurry CCTV and police body cam videos, go viral all the time, and they go viral under false naming schemes. Like, they'll go viral under a name that's, like, just a description of what happens. There won't be enough info in the video to identify who and what and when it was happening, and it'll go viral under there'll be false info attached to it, right? So, yeah, to be fair, I wouldn't be surprised if this Tyler guy has included like clips from other cities and states and even other countries while making his narrative. It would not surprise me. Even if it's not intentional by him, I think that's happened.
Prestigious reporter Darren Stalcup.
I met up with Bay Area native and investigative journalist Darren Stalcup to hit the streets and see what's really going on in Oakland.
Tyler shows clips of him going on Fox News, that he's been all around town investigating the homeless crisis within Oakland, California. Now, this guy isn't a journalist. He's actually a used car salesman who pulled a $7,000 GoFundMe scam a couple months.
No, actually, though, his career background really does... he's been trained well for the world of right-wing politics. Used car salesman to right-wing pundit is actually, like, you could not have a better resume.
Earlier.
I talk a lot about right-wing grifters in my videos, but this week Fox hosted one that was so lazy. I'm honestly kind of impressed. This guy, Darren Mark Stalcup, is trying to raise $10,000 to move from the Tenderloin neighborhood of San Francisco to another neighborhood in San Francisco.
I'm currently looking at the Chinatown neighborhood, but I'm open to other districts as well.
And it's actually...
Please help me get out of the hood. Please, please, please. He does not live in the hood.
Working. I looked into this guy a little more, and he has another GoFundMe, also for $10,000, but this one is trying to achieve world peace. So either world peace...
He's a scammer. He's a shit stirrer that... What else do you need to see? He's one of those people that just goes around stirring shit online, scamming people out of money, pretending to be people he's not. He's probably gone by a dozen different names, pretended to be a dozen different people in a dozen different situations, and raised money every time. He's one of those guys. He's like an act. I call like right-wing figures like Candace Owens and the quartering grifters a lot, and they are. But this guy is like the classic grifter archetype. You don't even know his real name or who he really is. He goes by different... He's like Slippin' Jimmy kind of grifter, this dude here. I get his deal here.
Is like a lot cheaper than I thought, and far more likely, he just wants $10,000.
But let's continue on. So the used car salesman's riding around with Tyler, and all of a sudden he brings up how he's seen kids as young as 7 years old walking around with guns in Oakland. Now that sounds pretty wild.
Hell yeah, Second Amendment, baby. Welcome to America. Get over it.
Tyler then shows this news clip on screen.
I don't know why we're being followed when there's no doubt criminal activity left, right, and center.
A lot of the kids have guns now, so when I'm walking around, I'm not looking for some 25-year-old guy with a gun.
Watch out, 15-year-olds out here.
I'm looking for 7-year-olds with guns.
So when the reporter brings up kids with guns in Oakland, Tyler intersplices a news clip of a teen in trouble that we're led to believe is from...
You guys know that because this is America, one day, eventually, there's going to be like a mass shooting, like a school shooting. Because a kid's going to bring a gun to school and start shooting people, right? Like, this happens. And then another kid who also has a gun is going to end up shooting the school shooter. This is going to happen one day. There's too many guns in this country and too many shootings for that combo of events to not eventually happen. And there is going to be a massive media frenzy over that story because there's going to be the discussion about the fact there was a school shooting and a kid brought a gun to school. Like, 2 different kids brought guns to school. There's going to be narrative about whether or not the kid who stopped the shooter was a hero and should be in the right, or there should be, like, some sort of legal charges for bringing a gun to... Like, that is going to happen because this is America and we got so many guns. Zan predictions 2025. Exactly. That is going to happen, not next year maybe, but, like, eventually. I think it will. Similar stories have happened. It's just never happened in a school before. I'd watch the hell out of that shitstorm. I mean, I think it's bound to happen with the amount of gun violence that happens in America and how crazy some of it can end up unfolding.
Oakland, because frankly, Tyler doesn't see the kids with guns, so he's got to show news clips to prove that this is actually happening. But what if I was to tell you that this news clip he shows as evidence isn't from Oakland, but from Miami, Florida, 2 years ago? But Tyler passes it off as this is what's happening in Oakland. Even though we can't see the kids with guns, we'll just take his word for it. Teen in trouble. Sounds really bad. But let's continue on. Maybe this is just a little mistake. So Tyler and Darren are talking to a business owner, and they bring up all of the machine guns that are in Oakland, and that's why crime is up. It is so horrible up there. Oakland is so bad that people have machine guns, and they're walking around. Mind you.
Okay, for one, machine guns? You mean like the kind that you can't get legally in America anymore? Like, and when I say you can't legally get them, it's also hard to get them illegally, I imagine. Like, getting an actual machine gun in America. Like that's hard, I imagine, even if you've got some, like, black market connections, right? Like, what? Machines that are guns? No, like, the kind of shit that got banned in America back in the 80s for sale because it can go that kind of shit. That's what they're claiming are all around on the streets there.
It's California. Like,
not banned, but banned for sale.
The gun laws are insane here. And then Tyler shows this clip, a scary black man with machine gun manhunt in the corner.
I believe it's necessary for law-abiding citizens to have the means and capability to defend themselves. As you know, all the criminals out here have guns, so I have no problem with you. And I actually
machine guns. Machine guns?
And we're led to believe this is actually happening in Oakland. But this clip isn't from Oakland. It's from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Once again, Tyler is literally making shit up to push a narrative. And this is in nearly every video Tyler releases. Let's go to Tyler's video where he goes to Memphis, the most violent city in America. In the beginning, Tyler shows this clip.
It's crazy how many most violent cities in America there are when you watch this guy's channel. Like, it's crazy that, like, Seattle's the most violent city in America. Fucking Detroit's the most violent city in America. Memphis is the most violent city in America. It's crazy how many cities are the most violent in the country.
Of 2 scary black men robbing a car in a gas station, and we're led to believe this is from Memphis.
This is Memphis, the most violent city in America.
But it's not. It's from Chicago PD, and Tyler even goes out of his way to cut out the Chicago PD in the upper...
Oh, clever boy. He cuts it off from the bottom and the top. He doesn't even include the news at 5-bit to make sure you can't tell it was, like, part of that little bottom banner. Ooh. I mean, yeah. No, this is legitimately the level of honesty you can expect from your average conservative, well, not conservative, but your average, like, right pandering, your conservative pandering content online. That it is all this dishonest. It's like dealing with these people's rhetoric is like dealing with the verbal version of this. You just kind of have to be able to, on the fly, identify the bullshit and call it out when it gets spewed. Otherwise, they just run away with the narrative.
Upper left-hand corner. So Tyler deliberately knew what he was doing. Now, normally I wouldn't really care about this type of thing, but Tyler is using all of these violent images and video to pass off a narrative that these places that he visits are so horrible. And it's really being used to just make up shit about the city, because frankly, it's not as bad as he wants it to be. And when you're at the point of having to use rain...
I like that bit there. Tyler's thumbnails. Notice a pattern? You know, I think I might. I think I might notice a pattern.
Because frankly, it's not as bad as he wants it to be. And when you're at the point of having the...
You'll notice he's gone to the Mr. Beast school of YouTube virality, where there are like 3 different faces that he's ever made for his videos, and he uses it in every successful video thumbnail. It's usually this one. Mr. Beast has one picture of himself smiling that he uses in every thumbnail. And they've mathematically proven that it achieves more virality more consistently to use the same photo of yourself in every thumbnail. And so he's doing the same thing. He's taking he went to the Mr. Beast school of content virality.
The city, because frankly, it's not as bad as he wants it to be. And when you're at the point of having to use random news footage to sell off this narrative, I would say that's not really the unbiased truth or investigative journalism. But it doesn't end there with Tyler. In his video, I investigated the gun violence capital of America, aka Chicago, Tyler shows this clip when the man's talking about petty theft in Chicago.
But all the crime down here is just like petty theft, breaking into cars, go to certain
Now, petty theft is...
I love how he's playing that, like, the guy who's actually a native talks about how, yeah, there's not really that much crime. It's mostly, like, petty theft and stuff. And as he's talking about that, he shows videos of what are supposedly violent crimes happening to, like, try and contradict what an actual resident is saying about the place, because it doesn't go with the narrative. That's real funny.
Non-violent theft that is under $500. It isn't some burglary or mugging or whatever. But while this guy's talking about petty theft, Tyler then shows this clip to almost disprove the guy. Like, wow, he's talking about petty theft, but clearly there's 4 black men robbing a car in the middle of Chicago. That sounds pretty wild. But once again, this clip isn't from Chicago. It's from Houston, Texas, 4 years ago. I can do this all day long. Tyler makes up shit to fit his narrative. And when that narrative is being used as the unbiased truth or journalism, I would say that's pretty bad, in my opinion. But let's just continue on. Or let's go to Tyler's video. I investigated the murder capital.
What is this thumbnail? Holy shit. The scaling is so fucked. Oh my god. This guy's head has been, like, made so large. He looks like a fucking bobblehead. What the fuck? Oh my god. AI generated? No, this is human-made slop, to be fair. You would be able to tell if this was made with AI. This is human-made slop. This was thrown together in Photoshop.
Of America, New Orleans. Now, Tyler's talking about living a life of crime, and he shows this clip on screen.
A lot of people die due to gun violence. With murders happening every day, countless kids are left without strong parental figures, get raised by the streets, live a life of crime, have a few...
Wow, a black man just shooting someone in the middle of the day? Oh my god, New Orleans is absolutely horrible. But that clip literally says it's from New York. That is how lazy Tyler is with this content. He is just taking random violent imagery, putting it in his videos, and trying to sell it off as this is the truth.
There are whole Twitter accounts that are dedicated to posting these videos, by the way. I guarantee he just follows all of them and just congregates whatever he finds to, like, support his video. He just goes to, like, the crazy fucking videos subreddit or something.
Simply to educate, inform, and entertain, and hopefully do all 3 at once, or boots on the ground, as they say. Balls deep, trenches thick.
Is this really what a journalist would do? Let's go to Tyler's Sweden video. Sweden, inside the country that pays immigrants $34,000 to leave. Now in this video, Tyler's interviewing a Muslim activist, and Tyler asked the question, is Islam's values maybe not compatible with Sweden?
Islam conflict with Swedish society and Swedish law.
And while the lady goes into Islam and all these other countries, but when Tyler goes to the part of her talking about Islam in Sweden, Tyler shows this video on screen.
The way someone see Islam in Afghanistan or in Somalia or in Iran or in Sweden is obviously different.
And we're led to believe, wow, while this lady is talking about Islam being peaceful, they are protesting. Oh my god, and there's an ISIS flag. Clearly that isn't just a peaceful protest, that they have ISIS flag.
This is pre-2019, guaranteed. Pre-2019 video guaranteed. 100%. Has to be.
In Sweden. But once again, this clip isn't from Sweden. It's from motherfucking Malaysia.
When?
And I can do this all goddamn...
What year, though? I guarantee you it's like 5+ years old, too, because didn't ISIS stop existing like 4 or 5 years ago now? Like, of all the things I like to give Trump shit for, isn't Trump credited largely as having, like, presided over the fall of ISIS, administration-wise? So, like, pre-Biden is when that video clip would have to come from. Because ISIS hasn't been a relevant, like, thing since before Biden took office.
Day long, Tyler. It's nearly in all of your videos. You are passing this off as the truth. Because frankly, when Tyler...
ISIS is still active, so what fall? Are they still active? I'm pretty sure they're disbanded. Is ISIS still active? Despite losing many of its leaders and its territory, ISIS remains capable of conducting insurgent operations in Iraq and Syria while overseeing at least 19 branches of networks in Africa, Asia, and Europe. Some of ISIS's most prominent branches and networks are detailed in separate entries on this site. DNI.gov. Interesting. Okay. It seems like they've been pretty utterly devastated, but they are still, like, a thing. Just not really... I'm guessing there's good reason why, we haven't really heard about them much. I'm curious because there's been a lot of narratives about whether or not the new Syrian regime will end up being friendly with ISIS. Those ties have been cut for a while, so I don't think they will be. We can only hope the new Syrian regime is like, they crack down on like radical terror groups like that. If anything, ditching the Kurds reactivated ISIS. Well, no, the Kurds are, they're popping off now. I don't know if like there's going to be an independent like Kurd nation. Like what is it supposed to be, like Kurdistan? Is like there's an idea of like trying to make that a thing. I don't know if that's going to end up happening, but at the very least, a significant amount of the violence and the Assad regime's like pretty much genocidal action has been put a stop to. Anyway, back to the memes.
Tyler goes to these places, it's not as bad as he wants it to be.
Just trying to get like some views on social media. So you have some idea, or do you want to get detained for obstruction?
I mean, you can detain me, but am I under arrest? And if so, for what charges?
Harassment.
You're gonna arrest me right now?
Said you're being detained, sir.
Whoa. That's, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Are you gonna identify yourself?
How often has this guy been arrested while trying to prove that these cities have banned cops, have no police presence, and crime isn't against law? It's like, while making his cop bootlicker content, he can't not get accosted by police and told he can't record. Mind you, I'm pretty sure the cops are in the wrong here, particularly for the telling him he's not allowed to record. I'm pretty certain you're allowed to record police interactions. Like, I've... Generally, when a cop is like, stop recording, and like tries to physically force someone to stop recording, the cop ends up in some amount of trouble. Like, they're not supposed to do that. So it's funny that this guy makes like cop bootlicking videos and has numerous times gotten tickets for bullshit reasons and been accosted by the police for bullshit reasons while making his videos, meant to prove the idea that the cops don't have enough power or presence in these cities. Hysterical.
Okay, I'm on public property.
Are you gonna identify?
You can't strong-arm me. Yes or no? We're going to court over this if you want.
And once again, I would just, let me be clear. Is this what a really thorough investigative journalist would do? Be so lazy with the content that they make that they're just throwing in random news clips of, as we've seen right now, only black guys committing crimes, all to amplify the video and make it seem as horrible as possible. Is that what a journalist would do? I don't think so. Now, I know Tyler is intentionally doing this because I've back-checked a lot of his videos, and a lot of the news clips are from the city that Tyler's in. And these are just a few of the examples that I found. But trust me, it takes a hell of a lot of time trying to back-source like where these news clips are from, especially when Tyler doesn't show the title or link any sources in his videos.
And that's one of the core things about this type of content. There's never any sources or anything linked in the videos. And I don't necessarily think that alone is like a death knell for any point. But like, if you're making that kind of dedicated, prepared content where you upload like once a week and that much work is going into making the video, you should try to back up and source some of the claims that you're making. But in the case of Tyler Oliveira, he doesn't. And no conservative content I've ever seen online cites its sources. I'm not joking. I've never encountered a conservative content creator that cites their sources in the description or the comments or anything. This is actually a fairly common thing to happen in left-wing YouTube. There's usually some kind of like bibliography in the description of source citations, because on the left, if you make content, there's an expectation not just that what you're saying will be true and factually backed up, but that you'll be able to cite the source of that truthfulness. It's not always the case, but it's more common than not. And that's just not a thing on the right. It really does go to show that these right-wing pundits, or the people that shill to right-wing audiences, rely heavily on not just disincentivizing their audiences from wanting to seek out more information, but making it as hard to do so as possible. Like, oh, do you want to look into these videos I showed to see if maybe they're on the up and up? You're gonna have to do some real Google sleuthing to do so, right? It reminds me of when Blair White was like cutting up that One Canada Cancer Society page in order to like remove the context that would make her point wrong, in order to like hyper clip out one few sentences that seemed to back up her position. And of course, she knew what she did. She knew that like cutting it at that part was deliberate and it would give a certain idea, because her claim gets counteracted by the very next sentence. Anyway, with that said, I feel like Vince Vintage did a really good job of taking apart Tyler Oliveira here. The video's doing pretty well as well. 250,000 views in a day. Not bad, not bad. Unfortunately, it's not getting as many views as your average Tyler Oliveira video. And that's the sad thing about all this stuff, is that these bullshit artists like Tyler get millions and millions of views, and of course millions of dollars while they're at it. Meanwhile, people who might even have a large platform that call out figures like this, not only are they not going to reach a fraction of the people that these bullshit artists reach on a daily basis, but they're also not going to reap as much of the rewards for their truth-telling as these right-wing bullshit artists do for their lie spewing. And to an extent, there is like a principled kind of anger I see when I see some like 700,000 sub, not even progressive, but just like not crazy right-wing channel that's like nowhere near as successful as like your average 500K or 1 million sub or whatever right-wing channel. It upsets me. I want to see more reasonable progressive content creators doing well. You could just make money from dead air by putting woke in a title? Yeah, the grift is very easy, unfortunately, and many people fall to it. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this segment, you found it enjoyable, educational, or entertaining, then please consider hitting the like button. Every single thumbs up and comment goes a long way to boost my channel and new videos in the algorithm, helps me to be seen by new and old viewers alike, and really helps to grow the channel, so I really appreciate it. It's totally free, and it's the best way to support me. So thank you for every thumbs up and comment. And if you want to see more from me, make sure to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell icon and turn on all notifications so that YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload a new video, because if you don't, they won't, I promise. And of course, if you want to see more from me on other platforms, be sure to follow my social medias, linked down below in the description. And of course, don't forget to join my Discord server as well. It's the main hub of my community and fan base, and once a week I host gaming events or call-in streams or watch parties there. So I hope to see you around. And of course, finally, if you feel so kind and want to support me directly, financially, help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio, then please consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or perhaps even support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or even buying some merch through the Streamlabs link down below. Regardless, though, of how you support me, thank you so much for watching as always, and have a good one.